Welcome to Cooking with Recreation. I'm your host, Miss Amanda, and today we're going to be making worm burgers with revolting goo. Welcome to spooky season. The ingredients that we're going to need today will be hot dogs, a pack of hamburger buns. We're going to need some relish, some tomato blood or ketchup, a little bit of barbecue sauce, and some mustard. And we're going to get started. Alright guys, so before we get into our food prep, the most important thing to do is to remember to wash our hands. We're going to get our hands wet, add a little bit of soap, and sing the birthday song at least twice. After we've washed our hands, I've already pulled out our hot dogs for us to get started, and I'm going to grab a knife. And before I start to cut anything, we're going to make sure that we have permission from our grown-ups at home to be in the kitchen using a knife and using a stove. So I am going to keep the knife pointed downwards, that way I don't cut myself, and keep my fingers away from the blade. And we're going to cut all of our hot dogs lengthwise, and we're going to do this twice. So we're cutting our hot dogs in quarters. And I have all beef hot dogs that I'm using. You can use any kind of hot dogs you want. You could use turkey dogs if you wanted to. So excited for Halloween, guys, here at Cadell Fine Arts. Every year we do a big haunted house for the Big City Boo. And if you are interested in our haunted house that we do, or any of our programs at Cadell Fine Arts, you could give us a call at 216-664-4183. All right, I got them all cut in half, and I'm gonna flip these guys over. And then we're gonna cut them in half again. Remember, we're making worm burgers, so we want our hot dogs to look like worms. All right, once we've got all of our dogs cut up, we're gonna place them over here in our skillet. And I've already got my skillet on low, so I'm gonna be very careful when I set them in, just in case. Hear that nice sizzle? And I'm using a cast iron skillet, and my skillet has these little grooves inside. They're going to leave some nice marks in our hot dog. But you don't have to use one like that. You can use any skillet that you have at home. I'm going to turn her up just a little bit. And it's only going to take maybe 3 minutes at most to cook our hot dogs. Just want to heat them up and get some nice marks on them. So while our hot dogs are cooking, we're going to get our barbecue sauce. And I'm going to add it to the bowl. It's probably going to make a squishy sound, but that's fun. There we go. And for my whole pack of 8 hot dog buns, I'm probably going to use about a half a bottle of barbecue sauce. Going to check on our dogs. And I did add a little bit, just a little bit of oil to the bottom of the pan before we started so they don't stick. You can use a little bit of butter if you have butter or margarine at home. But I just took a little bit of oil and rubbed it around with the paper towel on the pan before I turned the pan on. Alright guys, our worms look just to be about done. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the stove before we take them off of here. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that our grown-up at home has given us permission to use the stove. some of you guys are a little bit older out there and already know how to use the stove, but for our younger ones, we should probably have a grown-up in the kitchen with us. Something very important is to make sure that the handle of our skillet or our pot or pan that we're working with is facing away from us. We don't ever want the handle to face this way unless we're taking it off the stove, because somebody could walk by and knock your whole pan down, and then we'd really be in trouble. And we're going to bring those back here. And what did I do? Oh, there she is. My spatula. And we're just going to give those a little toss. Look at how slimy our worms look. Ew. Super gross. So now I'm going to mix up some revolting worm goo to add on top. Give me just a second to grab my measuring cups. I'll be right back.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
That's
All right, so let's get our worms on their buns. Should we scooch over a little bit this way? There we go. Like a few worms for you, and a few worms for you. Don't those look delicious? And I'm gonna add a little bit of goo to a couple of these guys, and then we'll put the rest of it in a dish on the side in case anybody wants to add it to theirs. We're gonna get started on our rotten eggs. Let's go over our ingredients first. So we're gonna need about 12 eggs. We're gonna hard boil those. We need mustard, mayonnaise, salt and pepper, avocado, lemon, paprika. We're gonna need one large size Ziploc bag, some food coloring. I chose purple and green, and also some candy eyeballs to add on top just for fun. All right, give me just a second, and we're gonna get these eggs on the stove and get them boiling. So our water is cold. We're gonna add our eggs inside, gently placing them down in the bottom. And we won't turn it on until after they're all in there. We're gonna wait until it comes to a roiling boil, and then we'll put about 10 minutes on our timer. right, guys, so our timer has gone off, and I am going to grab a hand towel or a pot holder and grab my pot. We're going to take this over to the sink. And grab my spoon. We're going to add all of these eggs into a colander in the sink. So this is a colander. Some people call it a strainer. Get all my eggs added in there. Careful not to break the shells. But you know, at this point, it's okay if you break the shells because they need to be broken for the next step anyways. And remember, guys, we should have a grown-up in our kitchen with us. So this is probably a job that our grown-up could do to help us out because it could be a little dangerous. Our water is very hot, and so is the pan, and so are the eggs. There we go. So once we get all of our eggs into the colander, I'm going to turn my cold water on, and we're going to let that run for about 5 minutes. You could also do this in an ice bath if you prefer. So you take a big bowl, and you add ice to it and some water, and let them sit for a couple of minutes in there. All right, guys, so now that we've let our eggs sit for about 5 minutes, we are going to pull them out of the sink and bring them back to our prep area. And we're going to grab our Ziploc bag. And I am going to crack my eggs. I think I might have more than 12 in here, so I'm only going to count 12 when I put them in the bag. And when I crack them, I'm just going to hit the shells on the table. We don't want to take the shells off yet. We just want to crack them. All right, we've got those all in there. And just put those ones to the side. We'll probably have those ones for a snack later. I'm going to do a little bit of water. Doesn't have to be an exact measurement. But we're going to add a little bit of water to our bag. And then I'm going to use purple food coloring to add to that. And I'm putting it down there in the corner where the water is. And I know it kind of looks like when we dye Easter eggs, right? But we're not trying to dye the shell. We're dyeing the egg on the inside. That's why we cracked them first. All right, so we're just going to let that sit for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll take them out and do the next step. All right, guys, so we got all of our eggs peeled, and you can see all of our cool colors on our eggs. And it's okay if they're a little chopped up looking because they're supposed to look like rotten eggs anyways. They don't have to be perfect. What we are going to do is get our knife, and remember to be careful. And we're going to slice those in half. And remember, guys, if you're interested in this fun activity or any other program offered by Cadell Fine Arts, give us a call at 216-664-4183. And we are open Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Oh my goodness, that was a double yolker, guys. Look at that. Twins. That's fun. All right. We've got all of our eggs cut. The next thing we are going to do is cut our avocado. Let me set this over to the side. We're going to grab our avocado. And remember, in the middle of our avocado is a pit or a big seed. So we're going to cut all the way around. It's Get that sticker off of there. There we go. We're gonna cut all the way around. And our avocado is pretty soft, so our seed's gonna come right out of there real easy. One. So remember, I'm not pushing hard, I'm just very gently running my knife through there. Make sure your grown-up is around helping you out. You could even use a butter knife to do this part. You don't need a super sharp knife for that part. Whoop. We're flinging avocados in the kitchen. Now make sure we clean that up, or we won't be allowed to come back and make a mess again. All right, we've got all of our avocado in there. So I've rinsed my hands, all that avocado goo off, and we're gonna add our other ingredients over here. So we need about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I did use a fresh lemon. I've already cut that and squeezed it out in here. So we're gonna add our lemon juice. Here we go. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Add that. And then we're gonna do 1 tablespoon of mustard and about 1/2 cup of mayo. All right, so we've got that measured. Add that in there like that. Make sure you put your mayonnaise in the fridge right after you're done, because mayonnaise will go bad if it gets warm. And we need some green food coloring. All right, so at this point, you guys can either use a fork or a hand mixer or a blender to mix together all of your ingredients. All right, guys, so we've got our egg mixture all whipped up, and we're gonna add it to a Ziploc bag. You could also use a piping bag that you would use for icing at home if you have one, but real simple trick is to just use a Ziploc bag, and we're gonna dump that in there. Get it all out. If we need to, we can come back with the spoon and get the rest of it, but that should be good. All right, and then we're going to get all the air out of the bag the best that we can. We're gonna zip it closed. And then down here in the corner, we're gonna cut a little piece of that off. And we're gonna scooch, scooch, scooch all of that down. Whoop, that came out really fast, but that's okay. And we're gonna fill our eggs back up with that mixture. All right, looks like we've got them all filled up. Just gonna add that little extra on top. There we go. Boop. All right, so for extra fun, we have a little paprika, and we can add a little paprika to some of them, or you can add it to all of them. I'm gonna add it to this half over here, just to add some red to it because it's fun. And then we're gonna add eyeballs. Yes, these are candy edible eyeballs. Boop. Our rotten egg eyes. This one, that's our double yolk one. We're gonna put 2 eyes on that one. My goodness, I don't know how I feel about my food staring back at me. What do you think? All right, guys, so these are all done. We're going to take a look at our lovely menu board back here that my artist friend, Miss Sam, has created for us today. So we've already done our appetizers, which are our rotten eyes, and we've made our worm burgers. And here in a minute, when we come back, we're going to work on our puppy chow for dessert.
Until all our daughters are safe. Until all our children have families. Until all our families have homes. Until all our parents are cared for. We'll be here.
It's time for dessert. Let's make some puppy chow. First, we'll go over all of our ingredients. We've got some 2 different types of cereal. We have Kix and Pops. You can use any brand you want as long as they're kind of that circly shape. It doesn't matter what brand they are. We've got some peanut butter, some vanilla. I've got Nestle Quick powdered drink mix. Doesn't matter what kind as long as it's a chocolate powdered drink mix. We've got some chocolate chips and some butter. All right, give me just a second and we'll get started to get this all mixed up. So we've got 4 cups right here in our big old measuring cup. We need 4 1/2. So there's 4. And we're gonna do a 1/2 cup, which is not very much. Just a little bit more. There we go. About 4 1/2 cups of that guy. And then we're gonna do 4 1/2 cups of our other cereal. Whoops. Remember to clean up your mess so our grown-ups let us come back from the kitchen next time. It's a little bit more than 1/2 cup, but that's okay. When we're making dessert, we should measure with our heart. All right, we've got our cereal in there. And we're just going to give that a little stir. Just get it mixed up. Alrighty. And then we're going to do 2 cups of our chocolate drink mix, blah, blah, because I speak English, guys. I think that might be our whole box we've got here. Yep, that's about it. All right, and we're gonna add this. I have a great big Ziploc bag. You can use a brown paper bag like that you would get from your grocery store, or any kind of bag, or you can just do it right in your bowl if you can't find a bag, that's fine too. So we've got this all prepped and ready. We are going to work on melting our chocolate. So we have here about 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1/2 cup of peanut butter, a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/2 stick of butter, which is 1/4 cup. So our butter I've already put in the pan, and I'm gonna add our other ingredients and get that melted. So now we're gonna start adding that chocolate in there. Make sure we're getting help from a grown-up because our pan is pretty hot, guys. And once I've gotten all my chocolate out, I'm gonna sit my pan back on the stove because I don't want to leave a burn mark on our table or on our tablecloth. All right. We're going to open up our bag over here. Maybe, if it wants to cooperate. And remember, if you don't have a bag to do this in, you can pour it on top of your bowl. Just make sure you have a really big bowl to work with, or do a little bit at a time. All right, there we go. I'm gonna close that up. And we're gonna fold over the top. If you have a brown paper bag, make sure you fold it over a couple times. I'm gonna do it with my Ziploc bag too. Now we're gonna shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it. You wanna get it all coated. So it takes a minute or two, maybe a couple minutes for that melted chocolate and peanut butter to kind of solidify again. So you're just going to want to let that sit for a couple of minutes. You could even toss it in your fridge if you wanted to. I'd say probably at least 5 minutes to let it solidify again from that melted state, and they'll be ready to serve it. All right, guys, so all my friends have come over to have lunch with us. And today we've made worm burgers and rotten eyes. And don't forget about our puppy chow for dessert. Are you guys ready to eat? Yeah. Yeah? Are you ready for some food, Abby? All right, Miss Layla, there's a worm burger for you. And Mr. Jaden, that one's got extra slime on it. And how about you, Miss Abby? You don't want a worm burger? That's okay. How about some rotten eggs? Yeah, some rotten eggs? All right, so let's get Abigail some rotten eggs.
They're not rotten.
Okay. Do you want 2? Just 1? Okay, you can have 1.
I want 3.
3? Oh my goodness. 3 for you. There you go. Hold it with 2 hands, please. Thank you. And some rotten eggs for our Miss Layla. And Mr. Jaden, a rotten egg for you. Would you like 2? Yeah. There you go. Scooch over. There you go, my darling. All right. And we'll give everybody a little bit of puppy chow for dessert.
That's the cereal.
Yeah, that's right. It's fun to pretend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like using imagination.
Yep. Some for you, my dear. There you go. Does anybody need some revolting goo for their burgers?
No.
No? Would you like some revolting goo? Jaden, you would like some? Let's open up your burger. There you go. 'Cause worms love slimy goo. Bon appetit, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you for joining us on Cooking with Recreation. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.